Hey everybody, how's it going? And welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. So I remember I was kind of surprised to find out that this red state, which is supposed to be, one of the last conservative bastions in our country, where people from California, New York, and Illinois tend to gravitate to when they want to move to a state that's more free, actually has a bunch of gun control. And the Attorney General of the state of California is apparently trying to help keep it going. So today we're going to talk about what's going on in the state of Florida. Let's talk about it. I want to let you know that this channel is sponsored by the absolute best, which is Attorneys on Retainer. If you guys carry to defend yourself, if you're thinking about carrying, if you just have something in your house for your own home defense, you need a membership with Attorneys on Retainer. These guys are not an insurance company. They're not like those big insurance companies where somebody has a hand on your policy. They're actual attorneys. When you give them a call, you speak to an actual attorney. So you dial that number on the back of the card, an attorney picks up, you have instant attorney-client privilege, and you get representation, the representation that you need that most of us can't afford. So it's basically having an attorney right in your back pocket like that, and they will stick with you all the way through the end, even if it's something that's questionable or you're in a gun-free zone or something like that. Attorneys on Retainer will be there, and I am absolutely proud to have them as the channel sponsor. So again, I just want to let you know about that. Now let's get to it. Okay, so let's go and talk about what's going on here. So like I said in the beginning, there's a lot of people that flee blue states for a state that's more conservative because they want more of their freedoms back. They want to enjoy things like their Second Amendment rights, which are typically not available in blue states. And they go to places like Texas and Florida. And I think a lot of people would be surprised to find out once they get there that Florida actually has some pretty strong gun control regulations. Things like waiting periods. Florida has a 3-day waiting period. There's also things like age-based restrictions. Like, for instance, if you move to Florida and you're 18, 19, or 20 years old, you will actually lose your Second Amendment rights altogether because you're not able to go out and get yourself something if you live in the state of Florida and you're under the age of 21. And that might catch a lot of people off guard who are thinking that they're moving somewhere that's going to be more conservative on that topic than other states. And while in a lot of areas, yes, it is a lot better than other states. I mean, the Second Amendment doesn't even exist in California, New York, and Illinois anymore. But when you consider that and you consider why people are moving, that might be something that you want to know about. Now, waiting period is bad enough. Doesn't matter if it's a 3-day waiting period like Florida has or a 10-day waiting period like California has. A right delayed is a right denied. And I'm not the person that came up with that saying, but it's absolutely true. Doesn't matter if you have to wait 1 day, 3 days, or 10 days. That is a time period in which you do not have access to your constitutional right, a fundamental right that you have. Well, that being bad enough, it's even worse the fact that you're taking an entire segment of the population, people who are 18, 19, or 20, people who can buy a car, people who can vote, people who can buy a house, people who can join the military and participate in every other aspect of society, for some reason are denied this one fundamental constitutional right. To me, that is egregious. That is absolutely out of control. And the fact that the state of Florida has a law like that might be surprising to a lot of people. Well, thankfully, there's a lawsuit that is challenging that particular law. Now, that lawsuit lost in district court. So it was appealed up to the 11th Circuit. Now, when it gets up to the 11th Circuit, it was heard by a 3-judge panel. That 3-judge panel actually found in favor of the district court's opinion and also said that it's perfectly constitutional for the state of Florida to ban anybody within this age group from practicing one of their rights. They're allowed to have their First Amendment rights, their Fifth Amendment, their Fourth Amendment, and all other rights. But for some reason, that 3-judge panel decided that they can't have this one particular one. Well, guess what? Now it's gone up to an en banc panel. So the entire 11th Circuit is going to be hearing this, and the state of California has decided to weigh in and try and uphold this particular law in Florida. And why is that? Well, because they have laws like that all over the country. And so, as a matter of fact, not only is California standing up for Florida's age-based restriction, but multiple other states are as well. Now, the states that are supporting this age-based restriction are the usual suspects, including the state that I'm in right now, which is the state of Nevada. We have a Republican for a governor, but our Attorney General is a Democrat here. And it says, Attorney General Rob Bonta joins the Attorney Generals of Illinois, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, D.C., Hawaii, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, New Jersey, Nevada, New Mexico, New York, North Carolina, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Vermont, and Washington in filing an amicus brief to the 11th Circuit. And there's even a statement here from Rob Bonta that says, quote, states need the freedom to develop individualized firearm regulations tailored to the specific public safety needs and circumstances in their jurisdictions. So apparently the attorney generals from each one of these states thinks that banning an entire age group should be considered constitutional. Now, again, it was upheld by a district court, it was upheld by the 3-judge panel, and now it is sitting before the entire en banc court. So this is an extremely important one. You guys have seen this across the country. This is something that they would like to see on a federal level, right? They'd like to have a federal age-based restriction. And so if we allow stuff like this to win, then we've got a bigger problem on our hands. It's not going to just be Florida. It will be every state if we let the federal government enact something like this. And so making sure that laws like this are overturned is extremely important. So I know this isn't a topic that for some reason people are super interested in. Whenever we talk about these age-based restrictions, people just kind of go, I'm 30, so I don't care about it. This is something that's really important because, again, it's just another paper cut, right? And that's kind of how they get you, is just little by little by little. And if we allow this to stand, then you're going to see it nationwide, and that's going to be a big problem. And so, it's really all about just spreading awareness. I wanted to let you guys know that that is happening right now, that there is a case out there. There's multiple cases out there, but there is another case out there that is challenging yet another age-based restriction that we need to see overturned. Now, obviously, if we don't get the win here at the appellate court level, then we could take this up to the Supreme Court and see what they have to say about it. But regardless, this is something that needs to be addressed, and these laws need to be overturned. So again, for me, it's just about spreading awareness, making more people aware that this is what's happening across the country. These are the type of restrictions that are being enacted in different states, including states that are so-called red states or so-called conservative states. If it was, if the politicians there were truly conservative, there wouldn't be a law like this, because this is absolutely outrageous. So again, it's all about spreading awareness for me and letting more people know about what's going on and what's being done about it. I want to thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please like, subscribe. You guys have a great day.